Developing new prescription medicine for market is a costly and oftentimes a futile endeavor, as drug makers can spend up to $2.6 billion only to see 12% of their candidates gain approval. When Pfizer fails on 2 out of 3 new drugs, retail investors have grown leery of the space. But companies like Aequus Pharmaceuticals, AQS.V, have found a way to bypass this massive regulatory and financial bottleneck by seeking out existing drugs approved in other countries and bringing them to Canada for market approval. Spending 12 to 18 months rather than the standard 8 to 10 years for new drug approval, Aequus also benefits from low fixed costs that allow the company to profitably operate in a relatively small marketplace such as Canada, in niche areas, including neurology, ophthalmology, and transplant. Positioned for growth with $2 million cash in the till, Aequus is a steady bet in an uncertain industry. As such, EQUITY.GURU's own Chris Parry spoke with company CEO and chairman Doug Janzen to get a better look at the company's unique de-risked approach and its potential for investors. And here are the highlights.
Yeah, when you think about biotech, most people kind of, focus on companies that make novel discoveries, like the science-heavy companies, the 10-year, billion-dollar clinical development programs. We all come from that background, but with Aequus, we're a commercial business. For us, most of our day-to-day efforts are around finding revenue-generating products for Canada and executing on the ones that we have. So with Aequus, we look at products that are approved in the US or approved in Europe. So they're already on market, and we often bridge them into Canada. One of our major sources of those type of ideas is the clinicians in Canada that we service, and we use them as our kind of sounding board when we do business development. We then bring those assets, we diligence them and start walking them through Health Canada, and then eventually, if all goes well, we get them into our salespeople's hands and we start generating revenue from them. From the second you get a good idea and you start diligence on it, that usually takes 3 months. There's a regulatory process. You have to file with Health Canada. That can take up to 6 months, but you're measuring these things in kind of 12 to 18 months as opposed to 8 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. And your costs are pretty well fixed at what the filing fee is with Health Canada and whatever commercial deal you cut. We're really trying to focus on things where we can measure the risk, we can try to deal with it, and there's short timelines to revenue. That's kind of how we view the world. For us, if we can generate $6 million in revenue off of our existing salespeople, the margins on that can be 80%. That's a good business. You cobble 4 or 5 of those together, you have a profitable business, and you can choose to either return capital or just keep adding to the mix. We don't think we're a boring story. We grow in revenues pretty well every quarter. Looks like we're gonna have another record quarter here in Q3. When you think about Canada's seen these type of ideas before that we're doing. The Goodman family, with Knight Therapeutics and with Paladin, they built a $1 billion business, one Canadian product at a time. We've Canada Medical Labs, John Mull, the same type of thing. Guys have built these really successful businesses, and we're kind of following that same approach. For a lot of companies, the revenues you can generate in Canada just aren't material to them. Yeah. It's material, but it's not on the top of their priority list compared to what they can generate in the US, Europe, Asia. So yeah, we're happy to pick up the scraps behind these global giants, so to speak. So good relationships in Canada can lead to, executable opportunities in the US as well. When you think about the type of products that we have, these branded generics or slightly improved kind of generic meds, you get a few good pharmacy benefit managers, and you do a deal with Walgreens and a deal with Walmart, and that's $30 million in revenue pretty quickly. So it's a different model. There's different opportunities in the U.S. And when we think about it, there's a lot of really experienced pharmacy benefit managers and pharma players, and it's just finding the right avenue, like we've done in Canada, to become relevant and beneficial to a certain disease setting, and then you take the same kind of shotgun approach at it. We prefer to grow with a really strong market as our partner, but it's not as it's not, you know, we're kind of gotten over the hump on that. You know, we did a $3 million financing with Cormark in August. I was the biggest investor in that round, and you know, we're getting to that spot where we think we can grow regardless of what our share price does, and over time that eventually, you know, value always gets recognized. Yeah, and you know, as the revenues, you know, as revenues start approaching, you know, $1 million a quarter, we're a bit away from that, but we're going to hit that in 2021. You know, the business starts turning to cash flow positive, and you know, you can start really seeing how those revenues get to a point where they're, you know, it's 10 million in revs. You know, our current basket of assets we think can generate between 10 and 15 million in annual revenues. We'd love to do transactions faster, but they have to be good.
Yeah.
The rate limiting step usually is finding, you know, where can you find products? Does it make a business case in Canada? And what does it look like to get it approved? It's amazing how your view changes when it's your own money, as opposed to just investors' money. Myself and senior management here in Vancouver, we spend pretty well all of our time on trying to find new products. And we've never gone more than 2 quarters without a new product announcement. And I don't think we're not looking to change that tempo.